Hello everybody, DeWitt Scott here again with another edition of the Daily Reading Room, where I give you a book review for one day for every day of the academic school year of 2022-23. And this review today is about a book entitled The Battle for Justice in Palestine. And The Battle for Justice in Palestine was published by Haymarket Books, I believe, in 2014. It's a really good book that explains in clear detail and just from a basic standpoint about the long-standing battle between Palestinians and people of Israeli in the Israeli state or state of Israel, Jewish state of Israel. The book talks about the history, how everything beginning in 1947 with the declaration of the creation of state of Israel in indigenous Palestinian lands. And then to 1948 with what's known as the Nakba, which is the day of catastrophe, when Palestinian people were forcibly removed from their homelands, from their actual homes and homelands by people who were establishing the state of Israel. The book does a really good job of explaining to any reader, not just how things began, but the progression of events that leads to today. It provides context for sort of a long-standing news story that has been around for a while, but many people just don't know the details. The book talks about the United States' strong support of the state of Israel, particularly financially, to the tune of about $4 billion per year, as well as verbal support for the state of Israel and for establishing more land expanding the state of Israel on Palestinian land. The book also really goes into detail about what the author considers the shared experiences of people of color in the United States, as well as Palestinians in the state of Israel. And what the author means by that is that the United States has a long history of discrimination, legal and de facto discrimination against Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Native American people that dates back centuries. And what the author is saying in The Battle for Justice in Palestine is that those same acts and laws and sort of customs that were always been present in America, they mirror the exact same laws and customs and practices that take place in Palestine when it comes to the way Palestinians are treated by Zionists or by the state of Israel. And they talk about just sort of an apartheid state that's sort of over there, that just mirrors not only America, but South Africa in the 20th century. So just the details about the occupation of Palestine and the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, the role that the Palestinian Liberation Organization has played, or not played, I should say, in sort of quarreling or sort of calming down the quarrel is explained. And just everything that has come along with it. So I really think it's a really good book in terms of history, in terms of politics, in terms of just Middle Eastern culture. The Battle for Justice in Palestine, I learned a lot from this book, and it was just the beginning for me to start studying Palestinian history and Palestinian culture and the occupation of Palestine. It was actually my first introduction. So I recommend it for you. It's called The Battle for Justice in Palestine, published in 2014. Really good book. Check it out.